Okay, let's continue to talk about the average value of a function. The average value of a function on the interval a to b closed interval is integral a to b f of x dx divided by b minus a. You can also write this 1 over b minus a. You put the fraction outside and then times integral a to b f of x dx. So if you had to find the average value of g of x on the interval 1 to 10, so you put g of x as the integrand. So you do integral 1 to 10 g of x dx divided by 10 minus 1. The average value of v of t on the interval 0 to 5. The average of the v of t, so you put v of t as the integrand. So you put 0 to 5, v of t dt, and then you find minus 0. Find the average velocity on the interval 0 to 5. So you put velocity as the integrand, and then you had 0 to 5. And then you divide by 5 minus 0. Find the average height of an object on the interval 0 to 7. So you put the height function, because you have to find the height. You put the height function as the integrand, and then you do 0 to 7 of the height function dt divided by 7 minus 0. Okay, so that is the concept of the average value of a function. So now let's take a look at question number 1. Question number 1, this is the question that we saw before. Let's focus on part B. Part B. The question said that, okay, use correct unit, explain the meaning of 1 over 10 integral 0 to 10 xt dt in the context of the problem. Use a trapezoidal sum with the fourth subinterval indicated by the table to estimate 110 integral 0 to 10 xt dt. So if you look at this, okay, this basically is the structure of the average value. So 110 integral 0 to 10 xt dt, it basically means the average of xt on the interval 0 to 10. And then you just have to translate what ht percent. We read this before in video number 1. As a part of t cruise, the temperature of the t is modeled by a differential function h. So basically ht means the temperature of the t. So you translate it. So it means the average temperature of the t. Okay? In the interval, or you make it this way from t equal to 0 to t equal to 10 minutes. To turn the interval into from 0 to 10 minutes. So we finished explaining the meaning, and then you want to find the unit. Okay, so now if you this is average temperature, the temperature in degrees Celsius. So therefore, definitely the unit is going to be degrees Celsius. So you can add it in degrees Celsius. Average of degrees Celsius, it will be Celsius. So now next step, use a trapezoidal sum with the fourth subinterval indicated by the table to estimate this. So how come we have to estimate? Because this part, it represents the area underneath the curve. We don't have the curve. We only have the table, so we have to approximate. So we are going to use trapezoidal sum. So trapezoidal sum, trapezoid formula is 1/2, okay, base 1, base 2, okay, 1/2 of base 1 plus base 2, okay, times the height. And then you're going to do 4 of them, okay. So some people forgot the trapezoidal sum already. So now we're going to refresh our memory. So you're going to have 4 of them. So the first one, 1/2, okay. So if you remember how the trapezoid look like, okay, so let me draw over here. So this is the graph, but you draw a trapezoid over here, okay. So the delta x, okay, is going to be the height, and then your base 1, base 2, okay. This is your trapezoid. Base 1, base 2 are going to be the y value, and your h will be the delta x. So now let's take a look at the first interval over here, 0 to 2. So delta x is 2. So times 2. You use here the matching number 66 and 60. So you put 66 plus 60. Okay, now we go to the next one. It's still going to be 1/2. Okay, base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So now 1/2. Okay, the height will be the delta x. This one, you got 3. So times 3. And now you're going to have 2 underneath is 16. And then 5 underneath is 52. Okay, now we continue. The next one is from 5 to 9. Delta x is 4. And then you have 52 underneath the 5 and 44 underneath the 9. Those are the y value. So 52 plus 44. And then from 9 to 10, so you delta x is 1. And then you have 44 and 43. Okay, so now we have the 4 trapezoid sum. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this you don't have to write really when you do the AP exam. I'm just reviewing over here. So the next step, you're going to add them together. Okay, don't forget to use your calculator. On your AP exam, you're allowed to use calculator to show all the computation. So therefore, you type it in, and then you got 529.5. 529.5. So now, the next part, you're going to 110 integral e to 10 xt dt. So 110 times 529.5. And then you divide, you're going to get 52.95. So we finished part B. Let's take a look at part E. Okay, so I added part E over here. This is not in your question originally. So part E, this the question asks you. Okay. Find the average rate of change of the temperature of the T on the interval 0 to 2. So average rate of change of temperature of the T. Okay, that was average over here. So we're going to put this together. Rate of change, it means slope or derivative. Slope of what? Temperature of the T, which is h to T. We read it before. H to T represent the temperature of T. So that means you have to find the average. Okay, average of slope of ht. So slope ht, we can condense it. Okay, slope of ht, it means the derivative of ht. So it becomes h prime t. So that means you basically find the average of the h prime t on what interval? On the interval 0 to 2. So after you read this, you translate to find the average h prime t on this interval. So now by average, use integral 0 to 2. You're finding the average of h prime. You put h prime t as the integrand. And then 2 minus 0. So now h prime t. And you have a table of h. Okay. So what relates the h prime and h together? The derivative, antiderivative, only the FTC. So now we're going to use FTC. Antiderivative h prime is h. So h of 2 minus h of 0 over 2. Now we are going to find a value. H of 2 is 60. H of 0 is 66. Okay, so now we're going to put the unit. So this way you can have the correct unit. H2 and H0 have the unit degree Celsius. And 2, it comes from the time, okay? The time 0 to 2. Time is minute. So now together, you got -6 degrees Celsius over 2 minutes. And you simplify, it will be -3 degrees Celsius per minute. So we finished question part E. Now let's take a look at question number 2. question number 2. Find the average value of the f prime of x on the interval 1 to 6. So average value of this. So that means just find the integral 1 to 6. Whatever the average you're looking for, put that inside as the integrand, dx, x dx. And then you have 6 minus 1. So now the denominator becomes 5. So over here, then you will find out that you have a table f prime and you have f double prime of x. So only the relation is you have the derivative of this is f double prime, derivative, antiderivative, derivative, antiderivative. So we have to use FTC. So f prime of 6 minus f prime of 1. So now we are going to find the f prime of 6, which is 7, f prime of 1, which is 3.5, and then divide by 5. We're going to subtract. So you get 3.5 over 5. On your AP exam, you can leave the answer this. If you don't feel comfortable, you can each multiply by 10. So you get 35 over 50. And you can simplify further if you want to. So we finished question number 2. Now let's take a look at question number 3. Okay, question number 3. So, question number 3. So, you have h prime of x equal to integral 4 to sine x g of t dt. You have to find the x prime of x. Okay, so over here, this one. So, you have to find the h prime of x. So we're going to do this. We're going to substitute this into the integrand. Okay, your integrand is g of t. Right, you have to substitute that into the integrand. So you're going to have g parentheses, wherever that is the upper part is substitute into the integrand. And then immediately you find the derivative of the part that you substitute, which is cosine x. And now we're going to subtract. And then you are going to have the g. So now you're going to substitute the 4 in here. Okay, so now you're going to get 4 inside. Immediately, you're going to multiply the derivative 4, which is 0. Now we're going to simplify. Okay, g of sine x times cosine x. 0 times this, it will be 0, so it's gone. Now let's take a look at question number 4. Number 4. So this one over here, we have done this a few times for homework. Okay, if you still make mistake, you have to pay special attention. So the integrand is g of t. So g stay the same. Okay, and then you open parentheses. Whatever that is the upper limit, you substitute. And then you times the derivative of the part that you substitute, which is f prime of x. And then we're going to subtract. Your integrand is g, and then open. And then you go to the lower part, which is 4. You put 4 in here. Immediately, you multiply the derivative 4, which is 0. Now we're going to simplify. You get g of f of x times f prime of x. And then this part, we got because times is 0. Now let's go to number 5. So we got p prime of x. What is the derivative of a negative x? Then you put a 1 over here, then you will see it. There will be negative 1. Okay, now we're going to add. This part just look like we did before. The integrand is g, so put g open. Wherever you see upper part, you put it inside and immediately multiply the derivative of this. and then subtract. And then you're going to put g of 2 times 0 because you substituted 2 in here. Now you simplify, you get -1 and plus g of f of x times f prime of x minus 0. Now let's take a look at number 6. Number 6, z prime of x. So you find the derivative of this term first, 2x squared. So derivative of 2x squared will be 4x, and then plus. So you have an integral. You have to find the derivative of this integral. So now what do? You do the same thing. You find the integrand, which is f open. Okay? Wherever you see in the upper part, you put it inside and multiply the derivative of this part, which is 1. Okay? And then you subtract. You have an f, more open. Okay? So now you get 0 times the derivative of 0, which is 0. And then you simplify, you get 4x plus f of x equal to z prime of x. Now let's take a look at number 7. Now we're going to have z prime of x, and the derivative of h x is h prime of x, and then we're going to plus. So now you have to find the integrand, f, and you substitute the x inside and times the derivative of x, which is 1, and then you minus f, and you substitute 0 times 0. Simplify it, it will be h prime of x, and then plus f of x. So we finish question number 7.